So yesterday I didn't get into the different types of functions we're going to be working with because it really wasn't necessary for what we were doing. But I want you guys to know that there are three basic different types of functions we're going to be dealing with. They are linear functions, which is what we did yesterday, where it's just a simple multiplication, addition, or subtraction, and you're done. Then there's a quadratic function, which sounds scarier than it is. We're going to deal with those today. And then the last one that we're going to be dealing with is called an exponential function. Again, sounds scarier than it is, but we're going to be dealing with those tomorrow. So a quadratic function, as bad as it sounds, is really just a function that has an exponent of 2 on the variable. So of the three that I've got here, this was pretty similar to what we were doing yesterday, where you plug in your variable, you might have to multiply, and then you add or subtract, and you're done with your values. However, the second one here, this is called a quadratic function simply because of the exponent of 2. All right, anytime you see an exponent of 2 on the variable, I'm stressing that on the variable, it is a quadratic function. All right, you can have exponents in the function, like if this were to be a 4 squared up here, that doesn't make it a quadratic function. It's when the exponent is on the variable. The variable is what's being manipulated. That's what's gonna bump it up to a quadratic function. And this last one is the exponential function, which we'll talk more about tomorrow, where your variable is the exponent of the function. But what I need you to get out of this right here, this is a quadratic function. All of the functions we deal with today are going to look like this. They may not have 3 terms, but there's definitely going to be an x squared in it somewhere. You won't see anything bigger than an exponent of 2. So the way you evaluate these, you need to have your calculator. If you're using the one on your phone, I would run through these problems and make sure your answers are matching up with mine. That way you know that you're entering them in right. But the idea of the function is the same. You take the x values, you plug it in, you do the arithmetic, and you get the f of x values, or the output values. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to do this kind of the long way just to kind of illustrate what's going on. But for most of you, you're just going to be typing these in on your calculator. I'm going to take -2 and I'm going to plug it into each place I see an x in the function. All right, now the way I set mine up, I use parentheses. I use parentheses when I set it up. I use parentheses when I type it in on the calculator. The parentheses kind of make sure that the signs aren't going to get screwed up. Okay, so when I type this in on my calculator, I would type it in parentheses, -2, close your parentheses, square it. Again, watch the video if you don't know how to use your calculator as far as the exponents go. There's a short video that I put up yesterday. And then -2 times -2 plus 12. I got 32 for my x value my f of x value on that. You might get some big answers on these simply because of all the squaring and then the multiplication and then just all that other jazz that's going on. So when I plug in a 0, same thing. I'm putting parentheses around my values. 0 squared minus 8 times 0 plus 12. I can do that one in my head. That's 12. Right? Everything canceled out because of the zeros except for the 12 on the end. 0 is a very nice number to work with functions. And then last but not least, I'm going to plug in 3. 3 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 12. Got -3 on that one. Okay, double check those, especially if you're using the calculator on your phone. Those aren't nearly as friendly with the squaring and the parentheses and all that. Double check them on your phone, please. All right, moving right along. All right, a little bit bigger function, bigger numbers. There's a multiplier in front of the x squared, but it comes down to basically evaluating a function is, do you know how to use your calculator? Okay, if you're not using a calculator, take your time. Make sure you're following your order of operations. All right, so 2 times -5 squared plus 18 times -5 plus 37. Again, if you set it up this way, the way that I've written it with the parentheses and everything, you can type this straight in on your calculator. 2 times -5 squared plus 18 times -5 plus 37. All that, and I got -3. 2 times 0 squared plus 18 times 0 plus 37. Like I just said, having all those zeros makes that nice. This is just 37. 2 times 1 squared plus 18 times 1 plus 37 is 57.